parents who are criticizing or letting their, and
That's
maybe
right.
the department doesn't want to hear it, but we could hear it,
Right.
and we could help the
And
parents
help move
get
that process
yeah, we can
through.
move that process. So we're going to try in the next year to get Albany to listen to what we have to say. The borough presidents and I just talked to a couple of them yesterday, and we're going to try to put together a proposal where we would show how we could be really helpful to these parents, because I feel it's a big gap.
Yeah.
The parents don't have enough voice, and they don't have a place to turn.
Right. No, I think you hit the nail right on the head. I don't know what the resistance might be from the Board of Ed or the mayor's office, but clearly, from our standpoint, when we're out in our districts and the parents are constantly coming to us, how do I get represented? I mean, they're coming to us to say, well, then since I can't do it, you go do it. And of course, if you're representing, I mean, you have 8 million, I only have 300,000, but still, you just can't. You know how hard it is to be responding to all of that, and it would be great if we could say, well, you know what? There is an office in the public advocate's office that will do that, and like you said, it's kind of tough to send them to the Board of Ed and they go, but I'm going there and I'm challenging them. It's kind of difficult to challenge them while I'm inside their house and doing the same thing. So,
and also, let me give you a very specific example that's current today. In the contract with the teachers union, they agreed to have 37 and a half minutes extra a day for tutoring, for kids that need the tutoring. But they never talked to the parents about this particular issue. And a lot of the teachers were saying, wait a minute, what's going to happen to parents who have 2 kids in an elementary school? One kid is staying behind for tutoring and the other's supposed to go home.
Right.
All
what
the
do you
logistics,
do?
all of it.
Sure.
Nobody, if you'd had an office where this could have happened, we could have warned everybody about this. We could have said to the Department of Education, hey, this is going to be a huge problem. Maybe you should spread it out over the day, the 37 and a half minutes, or we've got to figure out, what about the busing? How are you going to bus some kids in, not in?
Right.
But to me, the parents would have pointed this out, as well as the teachers. And then we would have been prepared, and we certainly could help parents who are now completely confused. They don't know what to do.
Right. No, they need some guidance. So are you going to do that this year? Am I going to
try?
We'll be getting a call this year. Is that
I'm
what
going to come see you in the cold of winter in Albany. Now I'm working with the borough presidents. We got to put together. I've got to put together the sort of proposal to them, and then I'm going to sit down with them, and then we're going to get it ready. And then I think the 5 of us we want to include the borough president of Staten Island, because he's important.
Right.
And the 5 of us would come up, the 6 of us with me, and really talk to you all, and talk, of course, to the Assembly and the Senate, and see what you think.
Okay. Well, clearly this is the year for doing some creative things.
It is indeed.
It's a lot of stuff going on up in Albany, and while we're still going to focus on education and healthcare, these kind of things become very important to us. And speaking of healthcare, Medicaid Part D.
Oh, Malcolm.
You're going to be our citywide expert on this by the time it goes.
Well, let me tell you about Medicare Part D from the perspective of the public advocate. About 8 months ago, I saw this coming. Now, I wasn't the only one who saw it coming. A lot of people saw it coming because of the way the federal government structured it.
Right.
And the particular area that we were really, really worried about were the people who are on Medicaid, who were told, these are seniors, who were told they would automatically be shifted to Medicare, and that Medicare would pay for their prescription drugs. But this would happen automatically. Now, and I know, nothing happens automatically.
No question.
There's always someone who falls between the cracks.
That's right.
So that's exactly what's happening. This went into effect last week, and many of the particularly seniors and our most vulnerable people go into a pharmacy and say, I signed up.
Right.
Here's my name. Here are the drugs I want. Can I have them? The pharmacists are trying to call to verify. They can't get their phone calls answered. They get them answered, and the person's name isn't on the list.
Right.
Or the person's name is on the list, and the senior's being told, well, you have to pay the full deductible, $250. Now, these people are on set fixed income.
That's right.
So you have seniors who aren't getting their prescriptions, who are leaving the pharmacies, and this is very dangerous.
Right.
And we believe it's a healthcare crisis. And God bless Sheldon Silver and the Assembly, because they are introducing legislation next week, I think it is, to set up a safety net so the state will pay for those seniors to make sure they get their prescription drugs, and the federal government will repay in the past. And I have to tell you, all I can say is if the Assembly really stepped up to the plate, Richard Godfrey and the Speaker, and we had a press conference this morning.
Oh, great.
And I'm really, really pleased. So hopefully next week that'll get passed. I guess you guys have to pass it in the Senate.
Yeah, but it's something that's probably happened. I mean, that's a tough situation. Everybody is complaining about it. We've tried to do education workshops about it, just right here in Queens, and after the workshop, they're still scratching their head, and they're saying the same things you just pointed out. You know, we go there, they sign our name up, they can't find us, it doesn't get return call. So I'm sure everybody that's listening is happy to hear that you had that press conference.
We are really, and I would just urge people, if they have questions and if they need some help, they can call one of two places. They can call our office, which is 212-669-7200, and tell what the problem is, and we'll try to be helpful. Or they can call the Medicare Rights Center, which is 1-800-333-4114, 1-800-333-4114. Now the problem is they are so busy because there's so many people calling that it's often difficult to get through to them.
So what's your number again?
Our number is 212-669-7200.
669-7200. Now I'm going to repeat that, looking into the camera. 212-669-7200. Public Advocate Office for Betsey Gothbaum, especially regarding Medicare Part D. There's no question about it. You need to make that phone call when you need that help.
But you know, to me, it's a disgrace that the federal government imposed this program at this time without being prepared for this particular problem. I mean, I don't understand it.
Well, you know, I had a couple of shows back, we had the Katrina victims on the show here. And it's the same thing over and over. Federal government makes this major statement about what they're going to be doing, everything's going to be great, and then right after you turn off the TV and you get on that phone, nobody knows what's going on. And it's the same, the Katrina victim, the president gets up, makes this major statement about all it's going to be available. This is going to be with FEMA, this is going to be with housing. And, you know, as of this show, there are still residents that are here that still are not sure what their housing conditions are going to be. And there is one program that we are trying to push the mayor on, actually. It's a program where FEMA will reimburse the city if the city takes out leases on behalf of these residents for a year. Now, we understand there's some legal concerns there, but one of the things we're pushing, which is possible, is to have a housing advocate group, maybe a Habitat for Humanities or somebody like that who can enter in a lease on behalf of somebody and pay that lease for the year, and then the federal government will actually pay them back. So if the city pays Habitat for Humanity and they pay, the federal government will pay them back. As of right now, I think of all the states that are involved, with the Katrina evacuees, we're the only one that doesn't have that.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I will try to get you some paperwork on it so you can take a look at it as well.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see that. I would wonder, I mean, housing is so difficult. Where do you find the housing for
it's
these
difficult.
poor people?
It's very, very difficult. They've walked around, they've went someplace, they had some leads, but it's, you know, housing for them, it was costing $400, $500 or even $600 or $700 for like a house down in New Orleans, where up here, $800 ain't going to get you the bathroom. You know, that's exactly right. So they don't know. But let's get back to Betsey.
Okay.
I mean, everybody, you know, says Betsey, you know, bright, intelligent, smart, good-looking, all that good stuff. Very personable. I'll never forget when we first met at the Historical Society. I mean, I walked out, I know Chief of Staff was there with me, and I immediately told her, I said, you know what, I can tell you, she's got a whole lot she's going to be doing around the city. And then you just kept going from there. So let us into the heart of Betsey.